It's been a 2 year journey at Kevala Foundation, and many hundreds of people have experienced a spectacular awakening journey at Kevala. Quite often, people who come there end up staying much longer than they imagined. I often ask them, why do they stay back longer? They said there's something magical about this place. The very energy itself is so pure that it reminds me of something very close to my real home. I looked at it from a commoner point of view, I looked at it from a complete outsider point of view. What would you go to Kevala for? First and foremost, there is no possibility that you are in Kevala if you didn't have a calling. The calling has to be there. Without a calling, you would just end up as a tourist or a visitor. You would not celebrate the true state of being there. The reason why would you be there is not for a spiritual shopping experience, but to know yourself. A place which is in the bosom of nature, undisturbed, surrounded by 360 degrees of hills, forests, waterfalls, herbal explosions of so many amazing plants which are so rare. First and foremost, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That means UNESCO has understood that this land is now needs to be honored. There are winds blowing all the way from the Western Ghats, the Sahyadri Hills, all the way to Japan. And that means Japanese were interested because they brought rains to Japan. So that means in an ecological way, we are in the heartland of something significant. The flora, fauna, everything is of significance. There are over 350 species which are very rare, and it's a delight for somebody to come and watch a crystal, which is part of a falcon family, hovering over you, doing all its aerobatics, displays of swooping down your head. So there is nature in its pristine glory, the precious water coming from mountain streams, the pure air from blowing across from the forests and reaching us, the way it gives a sense of deep longingness of to know the real nature, the pristine nature which is undisturbed. We have, as city dwellers, we have forgotten how to access pure nature, how to live in a simple way. We've forgotten, we have found all gadgets, comfort zones, but we have forgotten how to even take a bath. We have got used to shower, we don't even realize how much water we spend in one shower. So we have ill-treated nature, and then we want to blame somebody else for that. So Kevala enables you to be more and more in tune with nature. It is inevitable that you have to experience the real nature in its pristine simple way without going overboard. You are not a tourist, you are not a pleasure seeker, you have come there to know yourself. And what happens in that domain as you enter? You are enthralled by a magnetic pull. The very grid energy itself holds you. You feel a mystical wave passing through you. It might not be invariably available to you at the start, but as you go diving into the process of knowing yourself through your opening of your channels and readiness and preparedness, you will realize that you are held by a sacred magnetic field and a galactical cosmic rays that are passing through that sacred land. So the GCR, the galactical cosmic rays, are usually available to rainforests, and this is how the researchers found out that there is something passing through, and the bark of the tree has absorbed the starlight. So if you crack open a bark of a tree and smell it, you're actually smelling the starlight that has passed through many dimensions of light, refracted, and finally reached the trees. Those trees are the terrestrial standing pillars of light, and there are plenty of trees around us. And there are sacred plants around us, flowers around us, blooming in a very special way. The fragrance of that space and the very connection happens inside when you realize this is a blessed land. Hundreds of enlightened masters had meditated in this land, and it brings that energy into a very sacred alignment. I visited Himalayas many times in so many years. The recent visit, when I came back from Himalayas, having a sense of immense pull, which did not allow me to come back so easily. I felt a strong pull in Kedar, part of Himalayas in Uttarakhand. I felt that I've been pulled by these energies, and what am I doing in a different place? When I came back to Kevala, I had a sense of longing pulling me back to Himalayas. But as soon as I entered into the meditation hall, the sound of the Brahmari Nada penetrated through the brain and put me at deep resonance and peace. And then I realized that I am not going to miss Himalayas because it is there within. The Himalayan energy is there within me and it's around me. And the sacred place clicks into that mode of vibrational ecstasy. I dwelled upon deeper ways to entrain the brain, attune the brain. And music is the ultimate powerful igniting mechanism, a supreme drug which is harmless and yet has the supreme potential to awaken the brain, awaken this instrument to move into a dynamism of flow. I dwelled upon various possibilities. I come from a musical family. I explored, I brought in music from across the world. I didn't spare a single country, and realized that it has to be played in its honorable way. The way it is recorded, way it is reproduced, the way it is rendered, all three are important. And I realized that there is a science behind it. The power of purity, the purist in me brought back me to invest into a very high quality sound, which is very crucial to the entire experience of listening and previewing the powerful science of music and the science of vibrational shift that can happen to us when we absorb it. And the science of Kundalini Yoga, the science of Himalayan Kriya Yoga, Laya Yoga, Nada Yoga, the science of Raja Yoga, everything is available to the aspirant at Kevala. And Kevala opens the gateways in a very mystical way, in a very sacred way, in a very easy way. It is not complicated. You would climb to the nearby hill and experience a vast expansive view of something which we have forgotten in as a city dweller. It may not be as high as Himalayas. We are at about 3,500 feet at the Kevala, and we climb up to about 6,400 feet when we reach the peak of the nearest hill. But then this magic of being in the bosom of nature undisturbed, without any interference of any sound that is disturbing us, we are in the bosom of a very pure collaboration of nature. When we experience something beyond our understanding, the very science of breath, the very science of opening the swara gateways, opening the access to the portals for the sun to penetrate. So most people who came sick went back completely healed by the very experience of nature and the magnetic influence of these transmissions coming from the gamma wave. So all this possibility enables us to access something spectacular beyond the common understanding, where you are healed naturally without a need for tremendous multi-layered journey of suffering. So that makes Kevala very exciting, very beautiful, and repeatable. The joys of simplicity, the joys of coming back to nature, the joys of being one with yourself, the joy of knowing the larger picture by simplicity, by cracking open the code of life, by knowing the deeper aspect of what can happen. So the entire picture unravels itself and the journey takes over very beautifully. Romance with the nature happens and the magnificence opens its gateways through you in the most subtle way. So I welcome you to explore. Any more description would make it more promotional. I'm not here to promote Kevala. I'm here to enable you to open a gateway that is possible in each one of us, and that is crucial to me, is that if you encounter yourself in the process of knowing through a process of committing, you have to commit to that journey. Unless you commit to the journey, you will not access the path of actions. So when you are at Kevala, you will not be just in a passive mode, you will be in an active mode, and that active mode will bring you back alive awake, aware, and the awakening process will eventually happen to you.